Chapter 91 I went there to cause trouble, how did I become a hero saving a beautiful girl? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Changliu suddenly felt an unpleasant feeling well up in his heart. Although the resentment towards Li Han in his heart had faded with the passage of time and the existence of Du Zhiqiu and Kumeng, as long as he didn't see her, he would never see her again. Remembered, Chen Changliu has never felt that he is a very tolerant person emotionally, so he has deliberately avoided it since the last time he took a class with Li Han, but now seeing her and Lin Hao together still made him very unhappy. It should be said that in this situation, no one would remain indifferent as long as he was not a cuckold. Obviously Chen Changliu did not have a cuckold fetish, so he a little unhappy. What's more, Lin Hao's reputation in the school is not good, and there are conflicts with him. When Chen Changliu's car passed by, he saw Lin Hao grabbing Li Han's hand, and then pulling it directly to an Audi A4 parked next to it, but what surprised Chen Changliu was that Li Han was resisting. When Chen Changliu's car passed by, he could still hear Li Han's voice. "Senior Lin Hao, let me go. I really can't go. Our counselor has to check the bed tonight." "Oh, Senior Sister Han, I have already reserved a table at the bar. I will definitely make you happy tonight." Chen Changliu's car drove forward slowly, and the conversation between the two of them could no longer be heard, but from the rearview mirror, he could see that Li Han and Lin Hao were still fighting. "Maid, you two bitches, I won't let you go anywhere tonight." Suddenly, Chen Changliu seemed to have made up his mind. He braked and reversed the car. He decided to ruin the date between the two. "Madhu, who said that an ex must be blessed, wouldn't it be nice if I ruined him?" When Lin Hao and Li Han were still entangled, there was a sudden squeak sound and a car stopped next to them. Lin Hao was so frightened that he let go of Li Han and jumped directly to the side. Then he turned around and cursed. "Damn it, who jumped into the street to scare me?" But after he finished cursing, when he saw that it was a Mercedes-Benz that had stopped, he cursed in a lower voice. He was not stupid. According to his logic, people who can afford to drive a Mercedes-Benz are not sure about the energy of the other party. If you can do it without breaking your heart, don't break your face. Li Han was also frightened and didn't move at all, but fortunately the car stopped next to her. When she came to her senses, Li Han patted her chest and then looked at the stopped car. The car door opened, and when Chen Changliu got out of the car, Li Han looked at him, a little confused, and then with an expression of surprise, because he recognized who this person was. Wasn't he the business administration classmate who had been in class with their class in the large lecture hall some time ago? Professional students, she still remembered that when the teacher came, he was the only one standing in the aisle. She was a little impressed because he was tall and handsome. In addition, the women in her class were also talking about him and asking about him, and then she knew this. The tall and handsome boy is the student who skips the most classes among the freshmen, and such a student actually drives a Mercedes-Benz. Last time I heard someone said that such a car costs at least 60,000 to 700,000 yuan. When Lin Hao saw Chen Changliu, he was surprised, afraid, and angry. He was surprised that he recognized Chen Changliu, and he was afraid that a freshman would actually drive away. He was angry that this bastard had ruined his life time and time again. Good thing Kumeng was like this. Today he was planning to take this pretty schoolgirl to a bar and get her drunk and eat her, but now that this bastard came out, it would obviously not be a good thing. Chen Changliu glanced at Lin Hao and asked quietly, "Classmate Li Han, are you okay? Do you need help?" Can you please take me back to school?" Li Han's reaction stunned Chen Changliu, and then he realized that she didn't want to go out with Lin Hao. Well, it seems that it hasn't changed yet. Can he still refuse at this time? No way. Hey, it seems that the original intention was to cause destruction, but now it has become a bit like a hero saving a beauty. What kind of thing is this? But it seems that the result is exactly what I wanted. Well, okay, let's get in the car. Wait, the speaker was Lin Hao. At this time, he came over with an angry face, pointed at Chen Changliu's nose and cursed. "Chen Changliu, what do you mean? Why are you making trouble when I date fellow student Li Han? You have been against me again and again. Do you think I, Lin Hao, am transparent? Looking at the finger pointing at him, Chen Changliu frowned slightly. Senior Lin Hao, I suggest you take your hand away. I don't like people pointing their fingers at me. Damn it, you don't want to have anything to do with me. You are a bastard. I haven't settled the accounts with you about Kumeng before. If you don't give me an explanation today, then our matter will never end, Chen Changliu, unless you stay in school forever. Lin Hao was really angry. It was enough that he was depressed because Kumeng, who he had been thinking about for a long time, was caught first by this guy. But he had not lost his mind yet and did other things. But this time he fell in love with a freshman, and Chen Changliu came out to ruin his good deeds again. How could he not be angry? As for Chen Changliu driving a Daban, his usual caution was overshadowed by his anger. He didn't believe that an outsider, even if he had some money, said it as if someone didn't have any money, and he didn't believe that he could break up with a native of Yangqing like himself. Listening to Lin Hao's threats, Li Yihan was a little worried about Chen Changliu. After all, Lin Hao was not a good man. After being asked out by him again and rejected several times, she didn't want to provoke someone like Lin Hao. She was originally with him. The classmates came out together and wanted to explain clearly in person, but they were pushed away by Lin Hao's dog legs. Then there was the entanglement just now. She nervously grabbed Chen Changliu's arm, and also wanted to remind Chen Changliu not to confront Lin Hao. Chen Changliu turned his head and saw the worry on Li Yihan's face, and she shook her head gently, and her eyes were dazed for a moment. This worried expression was exactly the same as when she was worried about herself when she first started dating in her previous life. He turned his head back again, threw away the distracting thoughts in his heart, and looked at Lin Hao, whose face became more ferocious because he saw Li Yihan holding his hand. Senior Lin Hao, I have nothing to say. It's none of my business if you pick up girls. It just so happens that I know Li Yihan. And you two were tugging at each other just now. It's obvious that she doesn't want to go with you. Why do you have to embarrass a little girl like her? Also, I'll say it again. I don't like people pointing their fingers at my head. Fuck you, I did point my finger. I'm telling you, Chen Changliu, you wait for me. This is not over yet. You wait for me. Whenever you leave school and see me again, I'll beat you up. Ah. Lin Hao didn't finish his words. He screamed in pain and almost knelt down, because when Lin Hao was about to say that he would beat him up every time he saw him, Chen Changliu suddenly grabbed his hand that was pointing at him and twisted it back. In this case, even a strong man would have to kneel down and sing conquer, let alone Lin Hao. Lin Hao, let me tell you this, I know you are a local, you just want someone to block me. Let me put it this way, I don't want to be your enemy, but I am not someone who can be bullied by others. After saying that, he let go of Lin Hao, said get in the car to Li Yihan, then turned around and got in the car, leaving Lin Hao with a face full of resentment. P.S. The typos will be updated first and corrected later. Chapter 92, Short of Money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Thank you. In the car, Li Yihan was a little restrained, but she still looked at Chen Changliu with gratitude, with a different light in her eyes. Chen Changliu didn't look at her, and said lightly, no need to thank me, I didn't mean to help you out. Lin Hao has a grudge against my girlfriend's family, so I just disgusted him. Chen Changliu's words made Li Yihan stunned again, and then she looked at Chen Changliu with resentment on her face. It's not that she likes Chen Changliu, but because Chen Changliu ignored her directly in his words. What does this mean? Is he saying that he is too ugly, or that he thinks he will rely on him? The more he thought about it, the more annoyed he became, and his mouth pouted. I think she is a class flower, and her appearance is also impressive. You helped me out. Although you are rich, I don't mean to rely on you. Well, your business is none of my business, and I don't want to know, but it's a fact that you helped me out, so I should thank you. Li Yihan's words were cold and emotionless, but Chen Changliu didn't mind. Then, in the 2 minutes before they arrived at the school gate, the two people in the car didn't say a word. As soon as they arrived at the school gate, Li Yihan said thank you, but didn't get a reply, so she got out of the car angrily, but just after closing the door, Chen Changliu stepped on the accelerator, and the car rushed out with a huge engine sound. Asshole, am I so terrible? You think it's too much to say one word to me? Chen Changliu, right, I'll remember you, hum. Li Yihan cursed indignantly as he looked at the car going away. For tonight's episode, Chen Changliu was both happy and depressed. He wanted to do some damage to feel good, but how did it become helping out? Oh. However, he still felt a little relieved in his heart. In his previous life, Li Yihan got into someone else's BMW car, and he resented it for a long time. He thought that she was pretending in front of him from the beginning, hiding her materialistic nature. But from tonight, it is possible that she really did not worship money from the freshman year, but think about it, the financial schools of this era are not as chaotic as in the future, and the academic style is still okay, but in the past 10 years, to be honest, financial schools, as long as they are not at the level of 985 and 211, generally have a bad reputation. After all, the chaos in the financial circle in the future has been directly transmitted to financial schools. Thinking of the vague memories of being with Li Yihan in the previous life, Chen Changliu felt that Li Yihan should have started to have a qualitative change in the sophomore year. This may be the melting pot of the university that allows some people to feel the colorful society in advance, but even if he figured it out, Chen Changliu never thought about whether to reunite with Li Yihan. He has Zhiqiu, and Meng, who is now working well and has become his mouthpiece and supervisor in the company. These two people are not comparable to Li Yihan in terms of appearance and temperament. After tasting the taste of the swan, few people like the ugly duckling, unless he does not have the ability to grasp the swan, so he can only take a back seat. However, Chen Changliu felt that he was definitely not in this category. As for the consequences of Zhiqiu knowing the existence of Meng, Chen Changliu did not want to think about it at all. He did not have the habit of adding troubles to himself. It would not be too late to worry about it later. On the afternoon of November 28, Meng and the financial director were in Chen Changliu's office. Mr. Chen, we don't have enough money in our account. No way, I just transferred 800,000 to the company's account a few days ago. Is it over so soon? Zhao Na said with a frown. Mr. Chen, the original plan is to increase the production volume of the first batch. The company does not have enough money. It was only when Director Zhou Liming and Assistant Meng showed these suppliers our prepaid order volume that they agreed to settle the bill together after we collected the payment. But now you want to increase it to 30,000 units, according to their requirements, at least 2 million is required. If it cannot be resolved tomorrow, it will affect our delivery time to prepaid customers. Chen Changliu looked at Meng, meaning that he didn't know why. Meng smiled. Well, there is this matter. I wanted to tell you at the beginning, but Manager Zhou said that he had dealt with these people and could solve it, so the two of us took our pre-order quantity to them and they agreed. It's just that you asked to increase production to 30,000 units yesterday, so the deposit must be increased. After listening to Meng's explanation, he thought for a while and said, Okay, I know, you notify them and I will give them money tomorrow. At the same time, you contact the bank for a loan. You can borrow as much as you can. You go down first. After Zhao Na left, Chen Changliu fell into deep thought. Meng did not disturb him and sat quietly aside. He only had 400,000 yuan in his hand, which was definitely not enough. How could he find the 1.6 million? Take the order to find a bank loan. This is one way, but now it is too late. This road will not be completed in 10 days or half a month, and even if it is faster, it will take a week. The reason why Zhao Na was allowed to continue applying was to be prepared. Which boss doesn't owe the bank money? He can owe 2 trillion yuan, so what's wrong with owing a little when he has so many orders? As for how to solve the 2 million, he already has a way. He was thinking and reflecting that he was still negligent and took too big a step. He wanted to let all customers who had pre-ordered orders get the products in the shortest time at one time to build the reputation of the flower grower, but he did forget that he was short of funds. I was still inexperienced, and thought I had a forward-looking vision, so I ignored some minor details. Thinking of this, he looked at Meng and smiled. This fairy actually helped him do so much without saying anything. Seeing Chen Changliu looking at him, Meng stood up, walked behind him, rubbed his temples, and said gently, how do you plan to solve it? Now Kumeng already knows that Chen Changliu is not a rich second generation, but she did not look down on Chen Changliu because of this, but her love for him has added a little heartache and admiration. Or I can mortgage my villa to solve the urgent problem. This is what our family owes you. Chen Changliu pulled him to sit on his thighs, hugged her small waist, and smelled the perfume on her body. Well, it feels good. No, I have a solution. P.S. The typos will be updated first and corrected later. Chapter 93 Chen Changliu's Sense of Crisis. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing Chen Changliu say there was a solution, Kumeng was a little confused. Just as she was about to continue asking, Chen Changliu patted her perky butt and said, I know what's going on. Your man is not a fool. He knows what he is doing. If there is no solution, he will definitely not care about my face. Kumeng's body softened after being slapped by Chen Changliu. She rolled her eyes at him unhappily. This look of charm almost broke Chen Changliu's defense. Now the company has fewer people than before, and the office on the third floor is not like before with only the two of them. Moreover, the sound insulation of this office is not very good, and there is no restroom. Otherwise, he would not mind continuing to communicate with Kumeng in depth, looking at the seductive eyes that Kumeng, who was like a fairy, threw at him before leaving the office. Chen Changliu decided that the sound insulation of his office must be top-notch in the future, and it must have a restroom. After suppressing the surging blood, Chen Changliu found the business card left by the manager of the financial company when he solved the usury at Kumeng's home. Qianhong Finance Company, Limited. In the manager's office of Qianhong Finance Company, Manager Huang, who had appeared in Kumeng's house, did not sit in the boss chair at his desk, but sat cautiously on the sofa in the reception area, and opposite him sat a young man about 26 or 27 years old. He looked ordinary, and although he did not look arrogant, his calm smile had a faint sense of sharpness. How to say it, it gave people the feeling that this person seemed to be easy to get along with, but a little distant. After hanging up the phone, Manager Huang's face was full of strange expressions, which puzzled the young man, but he just drank tea by himself, and Manager Huang quickly came to his senses. Mr. Feng, do you still remember that I wanted to build you a villa 2 months ago? Mr. Feng raised his eyebrows when he heard what Manager Huang said. Well, didn't it fail later? Manager Huang said awkwardly, it was fine at first. We were still doing business according to Mr. Feng's instructions and didn't cross the line. Who knew that Cheng Yao Jin would come out in the middle? The owner of the house had a beautiful daughter, and his daughter's boyfriend actually helped them pay back the money, and it was obvious that he was still in school. At that time, I left him a business card, just as a courtesy. Who knew that he just called me and wanted to borrow 5 million from us for 1 month, and also gave me some information. Hearing that there was a business coming, Mr. Feng raised his eyebrows and asked, what information? The name of his company and the current business orders. Oh, check it out. 5 minutes later, when Mr. Feng and Manager Huang finished reading all the information of the flower-growing family, their expressions were different. Manager Huang was shocked and unbelievable, while Mr. Feng was more excited and eager to make a move. Go to his company tomorrow morning. If everything is confirmed, we can do this business and we can have deeper cooperation. Hearing the words of his boss behind the scenes, Manager Huang's eyes jumped. Based on his understanding of his boss, he was interested in Chen Changliu and the flower planting company. What is in-depth cooperation? But it is understandable if you think about it. Such a company has more than 20,000 pre-orders before its products are launched. Anyone would have ideas. Okay. After saying that, Manager Huang went out. He would definitely not just look at the surface information. He would also go to investigate more information about Chen Changliu and flower planting. After all, his boss was interested in this person and this company. As a qualified agent, detailed information is essential. After Manager Huang went out, Feng Xiao sat on the sofa alone and pondered. It has been almost a year since he came back from abroad. He originally wanted to make a big career in Yangcheng, but his old man was rigid and cherished his feathers. He always emphasized that he was in his critical period and warned him not to do some policy-related business, such as real estate, etc. As a result, he has no good projects to do this year. However, he can also distinguish the priorities. Everything he has comes from his old man, so the old man's warning has made him only do small things this year, which can be said to be not presentable. This financial company makes small money. Although it is not his capital, he is still not satisfied and always wants to make a big one, without relying on the influence of the old man and without any impact on the old man. A company like the flower grower is his best entry point. In this way, the old man has no reason to object, right? As for funds, this is easy to solve. It is not too easy for people like him to get loans. The funds of the financial company are not his own. He just makes the difference. At 10 o'clock in the morning of the second day, Chen Changliu personally greeted Manager Huang at the gate, but when he saw that there was a young man following Manager Huang, his eyes narrowed slightly, because from his observation, the young man's demeanor is not like Manager Huang's subordinates, and from Manager Huang's attitude towards him, Chen Changliu knew that this should be the person behind. Not everyone can start a financial company. In this era, it is either black or white, and from his observation, the chances of white are higher. Chen Changliu had a headache and a sense of crisis. The current flower-growing family has not grown up yet and is very easy to be swallowed up. After all, this era is still an era of barbaric growth. However, Chen Changliu quickly suppressed this and took one step at a time and responded to it as it came, from his heart. He doesn't want other people to get involved in the flower-growing family at this stage. Only in this way can the flower-growing family go its own way according to his wishes. When Chen Changliu was observing Manager Huang and Feng Xiao was also observing Chen Changliu. The first impression Chen Changliu gave him was that he was young, too young. As for being handsome, in his opinion, this was secondary. When a person is successful, appearance is nothing to him. Does it mean that if he is ugly or short, there will be no beauties around him? And after Manager Huang's investigation for one night, he now has a higher opinion of the various operations of the flower-growing family during this period. There are so many orders as soon as it goes on the market, not by luck, but by real talent and knowledge. Whether it is the design of the product or the various operations of marketing promotion, all show that this overly young man is not simple. P.S. The typos will be corrected later. Chapter 94: A More Profitable Project. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Manager Huang, we meet again. This time I will trouble you. Chen Changliu stretched out his hand as he spoke. Manager Huang smiled, shook hands with Chen Changliu, and said politely, "It's easy to talk, you are our customer, and it is best for everyone to make money. Come on, let me introduce you, this is my boss, Feng Xiao." As Manager Huang spoke, he introduced Mr. Feng to Chen Changliu. Chen Changliu looked at Mr. Feng with a smile and extended his hand. "Master Feng, hello, I am Chen Changliu." Mr. Feng did not put on airs and said with a smile, "Sure enough, a hero comes from a young age. I didn't expect that Mr. Chen has already started a company at such a young age, and the products to be launched are very popular and awesome. I hope Mr. Chen will take me with him in the future. Make money." When Manager Huang heard his boss's words, the smile on his face did not change, but he stared at Chen Changliu's expression like Mr. Feng. This was Master Feng's test, and he didn't care whether Chen Changliu could understand the meaning. Chen Changliu had already been prepared in his heart. When he heard Mr. Feng's words, he understood what they meant. However, he did not refuse or agree, but said cheerfully, Aren't you asking Mr. Feng for help now? Let's go to my office to talk." With that said, he led Mr. Feng and Manager Huang upstairs. Regarding Chen Changliu's words, Feng Xiao curled his lips. Although he didn't get the answer he wanted, he was not the kind of arrogant and domineering person. Business and sales were meant to be discussed. In Chen Changliu's office, he personally poured a glass of water for Mr. Feng and Manager Huang before sitting down. "Master Feng and Manager Huang, I wonder if we can successfully cooperate with you if we borrow 5 million from your company for 1 month based on our company's current situation. Of course, our company is always open for business, and we will definitely not refuse business when it comes to us. Your company must be our high-quality customer now, but Mr. Chen, I actually have a better cooperation plan. I wonder if you are interested." After hearing what Feng Xiao said, Chen Changliu knew that the other party was going to show off his cards directly. Oh, what kind of cooperation is it? Can you tell me? It's very simple, 10 million, I will buy 40% of your shares, and then I will contribute the funds needed for the company's development in proportion to the shares. So, is this kind of cooperation better? I think the price I offer is definitely reasonable. In fact, after our preliminary investigation, Mr. Chen definitely invested less than 3 million in this company. In just 3 months, the company's valuation reached 25 million, you can directly repay the capital, make a net profit of 7 million, and retain 60% of the company's shares. I will not interfere in the company's management, I believe my price is very reasonable. After hearing Master Feng's conditions, Chen Changliu couldn't help but become serious, and saw that his eyes were no longer just looking at a playboy. How much is a flower grower worth now? Chen Changliu didn't know, but before cooperating with Dibao, it was indeed worthless, but now that the event is launched, the value of the orders he holds is much greater. Because of this event, the flower grower will definitely be able to gain a foothold in the MP3 industry, and sales will continue to grow. There is no problem at all in selling 100,000 M1 units within a year. This product alone has definitely brought him more than 10 million profits, but this is only one part of it. The other is the value of invisibility. With the launch of the high-quality M1, the brand value of the Flower Gardener brand is definitely not low. Therefore, the current flower grower is definitely worth more than 25 million, but this stage is also the most delicate stage. Although the flower grower M1 has so many prepaid orders, no one knows whether its reputation will be strong after it is launched. If the reputation collapses, it is impossible to be worth 25 million, so Feng Xiao opened his mouth and directly offered a value of 25 million. Chen Changliu still looked at him with admiration. While Chen Changliu was deep in thought, Manager Huang said from the side. Mr. Chen, the price our Mr. Feng offered you is definitely very sincere, and with Mr. Feng joining us, I think the company of flower planters will be more secure in many aspects in the future. Let me tell you some news, Master Feng's father is. At this point, Manager Huang pointed to the ground and made a 4 sign with his hand. Chen Changliu immediately understood his identity. He did have a strong background, but he knew that he would soon take a step up and become the chief executive in charge of the economic development of this huge metropolis, and would be upgraded from a local cadre to a central cadre. He casually wanted to find a financial company to lend money, but he actually met that young master. In this situation, most people would choose to cooperate with Feng Xiao. After all, not only did he make real money, but he could also control the company and make friends with second-generation people like Feng Xiao. You must know that with a second-generation partner like Feng Xiao, even if you don't need his connections to help, as long as you get some information, you can still make a lot of money. But Chen Changliu's idea is not like this. The flower grower is very important to him and is related to his series of future plans, so he must maintain 100% control of the flower grower in the initial stage. But in today's situation, if one of them is bad, the impact on the future will be even worse, and he is caught in a dilemma. He needs to think about how to avoid selling shares while still getting on the line with the other party. As soon as Manager Huang finished making that gesture, Mr. Feng said angrily. Why are you talking about this? My father is my father, and I am me. I just think highly of Brother Changliu. His future achievements will definitely not be low. Hearing what Feng Xiao said, Chen Changliu didn't know if they were playing a double act, but he already had an idea and smiled. Feng Xiao thinks highly of me. I'm just lucky. Hey, since Feng Xiao thinks highly of me, then I would be ungrateful if I refuse, but I can't cheat Feng Xiao, right? Hearing what Chen Changliu said, Feng Xiao's eyes first lit up, and then were full of doubts. Brother Changliu, what do you mean? Mr. Feng, do you know the current situation of the MP3 industry? Seeing the two shaking their heads, Chen Changliu continued. The MP3 industry seems to be in a very good momentum now, but let's put it this way, starting next year, the industry will enter a fierce price war. Now MP3s that cost 700 or 800 or even 1,000 yuan will only cost a few hundred yuan by then, and the price will be lower and lower in the future. Have you ever thought about how much profit you can make when the selling price of MP3 is only 100 yuan? And the MP3 industry can only be done in the next 2 years. In another 2 years, it will be replaced by mobile phones. You all know how fast mobile phones are updated. In at most 2 years, all mobile phones will have built-in MP3 functions. How much market do you think there will be for MP3 by then? Of course, if you enter now, you will definitely make more than 10 million yuan, but I now have a better money-making project, and this project will develop well in the next 20 years. I wonder if Mr. Feng is interested. P.S. The typos will be corrected later. Chapter 95, 100 Billion Market. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Feng Xiao and manager Huang listened to Chen Changliu's analysis with thoughtful looks on their faces, but they did not easily agree with Chen Changliu's statement. After all, they did not have a deep understanding of the entire MP3 industry. However, when they heard Chen Changliu say that there is a better project, he didn't show much interest, because at this time both of them felt that this was Chen Changliu's polite rejection. Chen Changliu observed their expressions and knew that they would not believe it easily, so he smiled and continued. Master Feng, do you think that I, Chen Changliu, am perfunctory with you? Don't worry, you will know after listening to my analysis whether I am perfunctory with you. After hearing what Chen Changliu said, Feng Xiao did not refute, but adjusted to a more comfortable position. Brother Changliu has been thinking too much. I have to be all ears to hear what kind of project makes me think it is promising. Has Mr. Feng ever ridden an electric bicycle? Chen Changliu's words stunned Feng Xiao. Electric bicycle? Well, I've never ridden one before. Let's put it this way, I said that electric bicycles will replace motorcycles and bicycles in the future and become the main mode of travel for domestic residents. Do you believe it or not? After hearing Chen Changliu's words, Mr. Feng and manager Huang were stunned for a moment, and then they both laughed. Manager Huang questioned. Brother, are you exaggerating? Motorcycles and bicycles are still the preferred means of transportation for most people in China. How can electric bicycles replace them? Their number is astronomical. Chen Changliu was not annoyed when he heard what manager Huang said. He took a sip of water and continued, let's put it this way, there are at least 60 million motorcycles in the country now, and this year's production volume has reached 28 million. Not to mention bicycles. No one can estimate how many there are in China, but they are only much more than motorcycles. This year, domestic bicycle production reached 78 million units. After hearing Chen Changliu tell them all the specific data, Feng Xiao and manager Huang threw away the indifferent expressions on their faces, because they could see that Chen Changliu was not perfunctory with them, otherwise he would not have treated these data. Clearly, seeing the expressions of the two of them, Chen Changliu knew that his words made the two of them become serious, so he continued. In 2003, the sales volume of electric bicycles was 4.9 million, an increase of 208%. There is a prospect of at least 50 million sales in the next 5 years. In the longer term, it will definitely replace motorcycles and bicycles. Given the poor performance of these domestic manufacturers, the elimination cycle of electric bicycles will it's only 3 to 5 years, so do you think the market is big enough? Chen Changliu's words shocked both of them, and they even breathed a little heavier, because they knew very well what the amount of 50 million represented. Let's assume that the minimum price of an electric bicycle is 3,000 yuan. That's a market worth more than 150 billion yuan. But in fact, it's only higher, not lower, because the average price of electric bicycles now is more than 3,000 yuan. This cake it's too big. Mr. Feng was the first to react and asked with a serious face, why do you think electric bicycles can replace motorcycles and bicycles? Chen Changliu knew that the other party was already interested. It's very simple, practical, cost-effective, and more convenient for travel. These are just one aspect. Our accession to the WTO will accelerate economic development in the future. You two should admit this, right? Mr. Feng and manager Huang nodded. They did not deny this. With the development of the economy, people's living standards will get better and better. Choosing bicycles for short-distance travel is too labor-intensive and the threshold for motorcycles is high, and electric vehicles are the most suitable. The price is much lower than that of motorcycles, but they can take over most of the functions of motorcycles, so isn't it natural that electric bicycles will become a trend? Chen Changliu's analysis made Mr. Feng's eyes brighter and brighter, and the way he looked at Chen Changliu was different. He felt that he had underestimated the young man in front of him. His vision and smell were really not his own. Comparable, he is not stupid, and he will not ask out of touch with reality like many people who come back from abroad why cars will not be the main means of transportation in the country in the future. After all, when the foreign economy has developed to a certain height, cars will definitely be the main means of transportation. Brother Changliu, since this market is so big, why don't you enter it yourself? After your MP3 is paid back, you will have enough funds to enter it. Chen Changliu smiled and said, Master Feng, how big my stomach is. I eat so much that I can't chew off more than I can chew. I'm still studying. How can I have the time to do so many things? Besides, I have my own planning. The three people talked in the office for almost 2 hours, but they did not discuss the main loan issue for a few minutes. They were all talking about the electric vehicle market. When Chen Changliu sent the two of them off, Feng Xiao could already hear the sincere call when he called Changliu brother. The 2 hours of contact made him understand Chen Changliu better, and he would not look down upon Chen Changliu. He was not an idiot. Chen Changliu showed a long-term vision that he could not compare with. Being friends with such a person was very important to him. Beneficial and harmless. After seeing the two people off, Chen Changliu left the company after explaining Zhao Na, chatting with Mr. Feng today is quite mentally demanding. For such a person, it is really very energy-consuming to not only worry about his feelings, but also to express your purpose. However, what he said to Feng Xiao today was not to fool him to prevent him from getting involved in the flower-planting family, nor was it a sudden idea. He had done a detailed understanding of the electric bicycle industry before, because it was related to the direction he set for the flower-planting family, and it should be a small branch at the end. The reason why he took it out was that it was not necessary for him to do it. Taking it out allowed him to have a good relationship with Feng Xiao, which could not only maintain the purity of the flower-planting family, but also make his future path smoother. In the car, Manager Huang saw his boss in deep thought, and he knew that the boss had listened to Chen Changliu's words. Mr. Feng, do you really think that Chen Changliu's words were just perfunctory? Mr. Feng, who had been thinking with his eyes closed, opened his eyes, glanced at Manager Huang, and said lightly. I don't know whether it was perfunctory or not, but I was indeed moved by what he described, and his reasons and arguments are indeed reasonable. As for whether the data is exaggerated, I don't know. Go back and find someone to investigate immediately to prove the prospects of the electric vehicle industry. Seeing that his boss had made a decision, Manager Huang didn't say anything more. Okay, I'll do it right away when I get back. The car fell into silence again. P.S. The typos will be corrected later. Chapter 96 Word of Mouth. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On November 29, Chen Changliu convened a meeting of all the managers of the flower planting company and listened to all the preparations before the official launch of M1. Because of the injection of 5 million yuan in funds, there are basically no problems in the finance and production departments. The promotion of the marketing department continues, and the main focus now is on logistics. Because the management personnel responsible for logistics have not been recruited yet, Zhou Liming of the production department temporarily took up this matter, and Feng Xiao of the marketing department cooperated. In terms of logistics, according to Mr. Chen's requirements, the delivery speed must be fast. In this regard, Runfeng can be said to be the best in China, so we found Runfeng. After negotiation, Runfeng offered 11 yuan within the province and 14 yuan outside the province. It was also reported to Mr. Chen yesterday and he has agreed. Hearing this, Chen Changliu's face trembled unconsciously. A day has passed, but the express delivery fee still makes him feel painful, thinking about the free shipping of 9.9 yuan in the future, and then the free shipping of things worth 2 or 3 yuan in the future, compared with the current price. How can Chen Changliu not feel pain? However, Chen Changliu also knew that this price was the most sincere and lowest price given by Runfeng. After all, express delivery in this era is not cheap. Chen Changliu suddenly thought about whether he should set up his own logistics company. In the future, many of his products will definitely be mainly online. Moreover, logistics companies can not only deliver goods to their own homes, but also accept other orders. Logistics now is also one of the promising industries. But thinking about it again, he shook his head and rejected his naive idea, not to mention that the flower-growing family is now in its infancy, and there is no such amount of funds to engage in logistics. Even if there is, it is not cost-effective for Chen Changliu. What can't make money? Why do you have to engage in logistics? Express logistics is a heavy asset industry. Basically, whoever gets the cost wins the world. In the future, in addition to Ruanfeng's significant competitiveness in the express delivery sector, the operation concentration of the 3 links in one delivery is too high, so they can only fight price wars. The industry originally has little profit, and several companies with extremely high similarity are fighting to the death, resulting in lower profits, and all the money earned is hard-earned money. With this energy and money, it is better to do other things. You can make a lot of money by speculating in real estate without worrying about it. This meeting lasted for a whole morning before it ended. Although the meeting lasted for a long time, all the managers did not look tired, but excited. It is a foregone conclusion that the final pre-sale order will exceed 30,000 units. All the employees in the company are overjoyed and work more motivated. With the end of the pre-sale, everyone in the company and Ruanfeng's couriers entered the tense delivery stage again. On the evening of December 1st, someone had already boasted on the forum that he had received the M1 he had pre-ordered. I received the M1 I ordered this afternoon. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? Anyway, I am very satisfied with the delivery and logistic speed of Zhonghuajia. The M1 is the same as the one at the promotion point at the entrance of our school. Whether it is the appearance, texture, or sound quality, there is really nothing to complain about. The ultimate cost-effectiveness, to use the advertising slogan of Zhonghuajia, it is far ahead of all other products, not to mention the same price. In one word, worth it. As soon as this post was published, there were a lot of replies. I envy the OP. Where is the OP studying? Why is the speed so fast? I'm in Pengcheng. There are also many questions about the configuration of the OP, whether it is the same as in the advertisement, and they all received affirmative answers. As time goes by, after the first post came out, more and more people on forums about music, MP3, etc. said that they have received the machine. Of course, the evaluation of the machine is basically excellent, and the satisfaction of the evaluation on Taobao has reached 99%. Another day passed, and provinces closer to Guangdong province also received the machines one after another, and then they left messages and posts online. In short, this time, the online shopping of Zhonghuajia made most people very satisfied. With the delivery of the machine, the frequency of M1 and MP3 appeared in major universities became higher and higher, and with its appearance, many students who still held the square and cylindrical MP3 instantly felt that it was not so good. Soon, the word Zhonghuajia M1 appeared more and more frequently in universities. No matter what in this world, it is impossible to achieve 100% satisfaction, so even if M1 is excellent, there will always be people who are not satisfied. But when they applied for a refund online, a courier soon came to pick up the courier. Once the courier confirmed that the courier had taken it away, the refund process was quickly completed. When the money was repaid to their bank cards by Alipay, these people were stunned. Can the refund be so simple? Then these people shared their unconditional refund process on the internet, which gave those who still had doubts about online shopping a reassurance. This model was of course requested by Chen Changliu. As the flower-growing company that helped Taobao enter the fast lane, Taobao must try its best to meet reasonable requirements, so there is this extremely fast refund process. It can be said that the flower-growing company is popular among college students, and Taobao is also popular. Moreover, Taobao has attracted a lot of sellers during this period, not only some unknown brand MP3s, but also many sellers in the clothing industry. So taking advantage of the popularity of M1 from Zhonghuajia, Taobao also made its presence felt among college students, with a relatively high increase in user registrations, visits, and even sales. Sun Yu was very happy during this period. For them, who came from Alibaba, Taobao was their hatched child, and it is growing rapidly now, and this sense of achievement is unprecedented. Like the employees of Zhonghuajia, they are very excited every day, because after M1 was officially launched, new orders were more than 1,000 units per day, so more than 30,000 units must be sold in a month. The company's performance is good, and they will definitely get more bonuses. They already know Mr. Chen's work style, that is, as long as the company makes money, he will not be stingy at all. Chen Changliu does not think that the current achievements of M1 are short-lived. He thinks such a record can continue. The sales volume of the MP3 market in 2004 was definitely more than 3 million units, followed by 6 million in 2005 and more than 10 million in 2006. In such a large market, M1 has become a big hit. As long as the flower growers don't do anything stupid, they can definitely take a big bite out of this big cake. P.S. The typos will be updated first and corrected later. Chapter 97 Du Zhiqiu's Grievances. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The flower planter M1 has become the most talked about in the MP3 industry, and all brands are eyeing its subsequent sales. Everyone is waiting to see the new sales model of online sales. After all, not everyone has the courage to break the old order, and with the sales of M1 exceeding 1,000 units every day, and it does not drop in 3 or 2 days, but continues to climb slowly, the stamina is good. Moreover, the sales volume of the no-name MP3 players that followed the trend and launched Zhiqiu were unexpectedly good. This time, traditional MP3 manufacturers became uneasy. The wolf is coming, and it is coming with great force. Major manufacturers are discussing again to make countermeasures. Huang Zhang, a member of the Meizu family, has been looking sad these days. The sales of his first MP3 have not been rising as he hoped. Instead, they have been declining after the emergence of M1. This made the ambitious man throw cold water on his face. He was originally planning to open a direct-operated physical store, but now he wants to survive first. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, in the girls' dormitory of CUHK, Du Zhiqiu pouted and kept looking at his mobile phone, trying to see if there were any text messages or phone calls. He had been like this since class at noon. Doesn't he remember what day it is? She suddenly felt a little aggrieved. Seeing Du Zhiqiu's appearance, Shenrong was extremely speechless. You are such a dignified beauty of the University of China, but no one would believe your current appearance. I said, Zhiqiu, if I were you, I would just kick Chen Changliu into some ravine. What would such a man do here? Think about it, he has only visited you once in the past half-month. He used to take the initiative to call and text you every day, but during this period, he has not visited you from time to time, and you have to take the initiative. What's so good about such a man? Well, stinky men are all virtuous. Fortunately, you didn't give yourself to him. Now that I haven't got it, I already don't care about it. If I get it, I don't know what it will be like. You must know that men like the new and dislike the old. As women in the new era, we can live well without men. Du Zhiqiu didn't take it seriously as she listened to Shenrong nagging at the side and instilled in him the ideas of women of the new era. Although she was annoyed that Chen Changliu had been careless during this period, she did not accept Shenrong's ideas. On the contrary, Li Sisi said from the side, Rong, how can you have children in the future without a man? Why do we have to have children? Do we women have to have children by nature? I don't want to have children. My children are my lifeblood. I want to realize my personal value, enjoy life and work. Besides, isn't punk popular in foreign countries now? I think that kind of life is very good. Du Zhiqiu and Li Sisi were stunned by Shenrong's words, but they could not refute them. Suddenly Du Zhiqiu thought in his mind, is it because he has been unwilling to let Chen Changliu succeed that he is angry? No, probably not, he is not such a person, but what if this is the case? Can you feel the changes in his body every time? Otherwise, just give it to him, and he won't marry me anyway. Du Zhiqiu started asking and answering questions in his mind. His face turned red for a while, and then showed a tangled expression. At this moment, Du Zhiqiu's cell phone rang. She quickly picked up the phone, but when she saw the caller's number, she put it down. Li Sisi took a look. Although there was no name in the note, she and Shenrong were too familiar. This phone number belonged to Lu Zhiwen. Neither of them knew how many times they had picked it up. In fact, Du Zhiqiu almost blocked him, but she was the vice president of the student union after all, so she could only ask Li Sisi and Shen Rong to answer her calls every time. The phone rang for a while and then hung up. After a while, another message was sent. Du Zhiqiu knew without looking that it must be Lu Zhiwen, but just in case someone else sent her a message, she picked it up and took a look. Sure enough, it was Lu Zhiwen's text message. Zhiqiu, happy birthday. I want to treat you to a meal to celebrate your birthday. I wonder if I have this opportunity. Du Zhiqiu didn't even bother to reply. Later, several friends who knew her birthday sent her messages and wished her a happy birthday, but they couldn't make her laugh. When another call came in, a smile appeared on Du Zhiqiu's face. The call was from Feng Qian. As her best friend in high school, of course she was happy, it's just that she didn't receive a call from Chen Changliu, which made her happy but still a little disappointed. When the call was connected, she hadn't spoken yet. Feng Qian on the other end of the phone crackled and said. Zhiqiu, Ping Ping and I will arrive in half an hour. We have booked a place for you to celebrate your birthday. I will definitely give you an unforgettable birthday today. Okay, I'll hang up now. After Feng Qian finished speaking, she hung up immediately, leaving Du Zhiqiu dumbfounded. She had already been arranged without saying a word, but she had no objection. Du Zhiqiu picked up the phone again and called Chen Changliu. Hello, the number you dialed is temporarily unavailable, please call again later. That it was still the same voice. She made no less than 10 calls today, and they were all like this. She was a little frustrated, but also a little worried. She didn't know why Chen Changliu's phone couldn't get through. This had never happened before, but thinking that her two high school best friends would come over soon, she had to calm down, change her clothes, put on light makeup, and then walk to the school gate with Shen Rong and Li Sisi. On the way, she sent a message to Chen Changliu, telling him to call her back after seeing the message. When Feng Qian and Li Ping saw Du Zhiqiu, although she was smiling, with their understanding of her, how could they not see a trace of disappointment on her face? The two looked at each other, then walked towards Du Zhiqiu and said. Dear, happy birthday, we have already booked a place for you, don't worry about anything today, leave it all to us. Rong, Sisi, let's go, today we want to give Zhiqiu an unforgettable birthday. After that, he took their hands and walked towards a taxi on the side of the road. At this time, waves of violent noises of street blasting came from far and near, and then a sports car with beautiful streamline and eye-catching appearance appeared in everyone's sight, and then stopped in front of the taxi that Du Zhiqiu and his friends were about to get on. Du Zhiqiu and his 4 friends also saw this Porsche 911 GT2. After all, they couldn't ignore the noise of street blasting, not to mention that it stopped in front of their taxi. The car door opened, a long leg stepped out from the cab, and then a handsome man appeared in everyone's sight. He was wearing a casual suit and had a warm smile on his face, making him look like a handsome gentleman. His appearance instantly killed many girls nearby. Such a man is the Prince Charming in their dreams. What's more eye-catching is that he was holding a large bouquet of red roses in his hand. When those girls saw the large bouquet of red roses in his hand, many of them had already developed jealousy, because they knew that this bouquet of flowers was definitely not for themselves. They were jealous of which lucky woman would be favored by such a rich and handsome man. P.S. The typos will be corrected first and then corrected. Chapter 98 From Small Grievances to Pride. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When they saw this man appear, Du Zhiqiu, Shen Rong, and Li Sisi had different expressions on their faces. Du Zhiqiu was helpless and disgusted. Although Shen Rong's eyes lit up for a moment, she became indifferent again. Li Sisi poked Du Zhiqiu and said with a smile, Zhiqiu, your flower protector has arrived. Hey, why is no one chasing me like this? Feng Qian and Li Ping's eyes also lit up. This man looked like he was really outstanding. He could afford to drive a sports car, so his family must be rich. Besides, he was quite handsome, but when they saw this man walking towards them, and with everyone watching, he handed a large bouquet of roses to Du Zhiqiu and said. Zhiqiu, happy birthday. At this time, Feng Qian and Li Ping's expressions changed slightly, and their expressions became less calm. In their opinion, Chen Changliu and Du Zhiqiu are the most suitable couple, but now there is a man who seems to be slightly better than Chen Changliu in all aspects, pursuing their best friend. this makes them have to worry about whether their relationship can withstand the test. After all, people change. The two looked at Du Zhiqiu a little worriedly, but they were relieved when they saw that Du Zhiqiu did not take the flowers. Du Zhiqiu was a little helpless. Thank you, Senior Lu, please call me Du Zhiqiu. I'm not used to men calling me Zhiqiu. As for this bouquet of flowers, I won't accept it because it really doesn't suit me. The visitor was none other than Lu Zhiwen. Du Zhiqiu's rejection of the flowers still made him embarrassed, but he quickly reacted and continued. Du Zhiqiu, I have reserved a private room in the hotel to celebrate your birthday. I will arrange it for you and my schoolmates today. I will definitely make Du Zhiqiu and you have a happy birthday party. Du Zhiqiu shook his head. Thank you, Senior Lu, for your kindness, but my best friends have already prepared it for me. I can't let them down. I understand your wishes. Then he took Feng Qian's hand and said, Qian, what surprises have you arranged for me? Come on, I can't wait. After Feng Qian showed an apologetic expression to Lu Zhiwen, she pulled Du Zhiqiu into the car. Looking at the taxi that had started, the expression on his face was uncertain, and then he made a phone call. It didn't take long for him to know the destination of the car. He got into his sports car, hit the accelerator and drove directly to the destination. In the car, Feng Qian started to tease Du Zhiqiu. Hey, she is indeed the most beautiful school beauty in the history of our Guangnan No. 15 middle school. She drove a sports car and fascinated the seniors who were rich and young when she just entered college, but, are you really not afraid of that guy being jealous? I know he is not very minded. After hearing Feng Qian's words, Du Zhiqiu's mood suddenly became depressed. Humph, I don't even know where he went. I can't get through to him on the phone, and he didn't reply to my text messages. He must have forgotten my birthday. Listening to Du Zhiqiu's aggrieved words, Feng Qian and Li Ping almost laughed, but they still held back. Then Li Ping consoled her, don't worry, I don't think he did it on purpose. He must have something to do. You don't know, the company where he works part-time has been very popular recently. I heard that it has brought many foreign brands to the limelight. They were all overwhelmed, so he should be very busy, but I believe him. He will definitely remember it when he is done. If he forgets today, our sisters, Zhao Lin, and Pang Wei will all stand by your side, and we will definitely let him know about Huar. Why is it so red? Hearing Feng Qian's words, Du Zhiqiu looked forward to it a little more. Yes, he may not have finished his work yet, and he will definitely think of it when he gets off work. Chen, what do you think he is busy with all day? He is only a part-time worker, why is he so busy? I don't know either, but it seems that their company values him very much, and you know that his abilities will not be hidden anywhere. For example, he was the one who found us for their company's local promotion event this time. He may be responsible for the Yangqing area. If this is the case, he must be busy because there are so many promotion points in the city. When he heard his sister praising his man, the little grievance he felt just now instantly turned into pride. His head began to tilt upward and the corners of his mouth turned up a little. Seeing her expression, several other people couldn't help laughing and made fun of her, but Du Zhiqiu didn't take it seriously. Our Chen Changliu is indeed capable. If you have the ability, you can find a boyfriend to compare with him. Not to mention, few people can do it just because the tuition fees and living expenses for school are not what their families need. Besides, several other women were force-fed a mouthful of dog food and became speechless. Li Sisi changed the subject and asked. Chan, you said that the company where Chen Changliu and the others work part-time is now suppressing foreign brands. What's going on? Li Sisi's question finally pulled Du Zhiqiu out of showing off her boyfriend and looked at Feng Qian curiously. Don't you have that MP3 player that their company launched? It's very popular in the university now. Before, their company was looking for people to do part-time promotions. Chen Changliu found me and Ping, and then we. Feng Qian and Li Pingren talked about the recent popularity of Zhonghuajia M1 in the MP3 market. He directly talked about Du Zhiqiu's 3 daughters, who were stunned for a while, and then Yu Yuranjian. Because in this era, the reputation of electronic products is better than that of foreign brands, which is a kind of pride for many Chinese people. While several people were still chattering in the car, Lu Zhiwen had already passed them from another road and rushed to their destination in advance. His face was no longer warm, but a little gloomy. Zhiqiu saw the car driving further and further to the suburbs, and asked curiously. "Chanshan, where are you taking us? Isn't it just a meal? Why are you going to the suburbs?" "Oh, don't worry about it. Today is our birthday, and we have the final say." After driving for an hour, we finally arrived at the gate of a holiday villa. "Chanshan, why are you here at the hot spring resort?" "It's just a birthday. There's no need to spend so much money. It's okay. It's not expensive. Don't forget that your husband has helped us make a lot of money." Zhiqiu didn't know what to say. However, when he saw the green water, lush forests, green mountains, birdsong and flowers in the resort, Zhiqiu liked it all of a sudden. The taxi stopped at the door of a small building. After paying the money, the four girls got off the car, and Feng Qian took Zhiqiu inside. Pushing the door open, the room was pitch black. Before she could see the situation inside clearly through the light at the door was suddenly closed again, and the room fell into a state of pitch black again. Then Zhiqiu felt Feng Qian let go of her hand. "Chanshan, ping. In this situation where it was pitch dark, Zhiqiu was a little nervous for no reason and couldn't help but call out Feng Qian and Li Ping's names. P.S. The typos were corrected first and then corrected. Chapter 99 Lu Zhiwen takes action. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhiqiu's call did not receive a response. She was expectant and uneasy. The uneasy feeling was not because she did not trust her bestie, but because it was her instinct in this environment. At this moment, the lights in the house came on. Zhiqiu's eyes narrowed due to the sudden light. When she saw the situation in the house clearly, she showed an expression of disbelief. If she had not covered her mouth with her hands, she would have screamed. Then she pouted and her eyes were misty. Zhiqiu, with her pouting lips and misty eyes, exuded amazing charm. Her eyes looked moist, but it could be seen that there was a touch of emotional complaint in them, which was neither arrogant nor unruly. It should be a combination of complaint and coquetry. All the decorations in the house can be said to have made all the girls like them at the first time. A long dining table in the living room. The long table was covered with a pink tablecloth, and in the middle was a flower belt made of roses, lilies, etc., and in the middle of the flower belt there was a European-style lampstand, with the burning red candles on it being beautiful embellishments. Balloons of various colors were tied to the long table and chairs, and they were arranged in a staggered manner. There were fans and red curtains around the room, with various blessings on them, and pink balloons on the ground and walls formed various shapes. It can be said that the entire house was beautifully decorated, and the other women were all amazed and looked at Zhiqiu with envy. Such an arrangement can be said to be one of the reasons why Zhiqiu pouted and had mist in her eyes, but it was not the main reason. The main reason was the man who was walking towards her, the man she had been looking forward to but couldn't get in touch with and was worried about. Yes, it was Chen Changliu who was walking towards her. He was just wearing a simple dark blue casual jacket plus long-sleeved white shirt plus casual trousers plus khaki brogues. The whole person gave people a mature temperament and was full of youthful vitality. It can be said that he and Zhiqiu were a handsome man and a beautiful woman. Chen Changliu walked in front of Zhiqiu with an extremely warm smile on his face. "Happy birthday, do you like it? I spent a day decorating it myself." Hearing Chen Changliu say that he spent a day decorating it himself, the anger that just rose because he deliberately didn't answer the phone immediately disappeared, and then there was endless love. No matter how she looked at the man in front of her, she felt handsome and satisfied with everything. "Humph, considering that you spent so much effort, I will forgive you for not answering the phone, and..." At this point, Zhiqiu actually took the initiative to hug Chen Changliu's waist, and then suddenly tiptoed and kissed Chen Changliu directly on the lips. Zhiqiu just wanted to give her a light kiss, but before she could leave, a pair of stronger hands had already wrapped around her waist, and then they took over the guests, leaving only Zhiqiu's was sound. At some point, two bangs and bangs sounded, and Zhao Lin and Pang Wei appeared on both sides of them, each twisting a bucket of fireworks. then they and several other girls shouted at the same time, "Happy birthday to the beautiful Zhiqiu," that it was also these sounds that directly blew Zhiqiu back to reality, and her face turned red. Thinking of kissing Chen Changliu in front of so many people, she felt a little shy, so she could only bury herself in Chen Changliu's arms and twist the soft flesh on his waist to express her dissatisfaction with him making her look bad, but maybe even an ant bite would hurt more than her twisting. But soon, Zhiqiu came out of Chen Changliu's arms and looked at her few friends with a smile on her face. "Zhao Lin, Pang Wei, why are you two here? A text message is enough, why are you bothering to run so far?" "Ha ha ha, it's not a bother. I don't know how many good things this guy Liu Hao did in his previous life. He actually got you." Pang Wei said carelessly, but he just finished speaking, and laughed twice. It turned out that Li Sisi and Shen Rong couldn't help hearing Pang Wei and Chen Changliu were hooligans. "Ha ha ha, Chen Changliu, so you are called Liu Hao, TSK, how many female classmates did you tease to get this nickname? Then I will call you Chen de Liu Hao from now on." Li Sisi's words made Chen Changliu's face dark. He glared at Pang Wei fiercely, and then looked at Li Sisi helplessly. He had no way to deal with this big-breasted, brainless, and a little bit Lolita Zhongda top student. You said she was stupid, but she was admitted to Zhongda, so she can only be said to be naive, coquettish, and heartless. Even Du Zhiqiu was amused by Li Sisi. "Li Sisi, you are the only one with a rich imagination. Humph, I don't even bother to tease someone like you." Chen Changliu. Li Sisi showed her fist to Chen Changliu as a threat, but to Chen Changliu, her small fist was not threatening at all. If she showed her big balls, Chen Changliu might still feel threatening because she could suffocate him. Everyone laughed and several women kept looking around the scene. The main pink and dark red decorations really made them have little resistance. The 5 women gathered together and didn't know what to discuss. From time to time, Du Zhiqiu's face could be seen blushing. There was red wine and some snacks in the house, which were prepared before. Now it was more than an hour before dinner started. Several women were visiting this small building, and 3 men were sitting in the corner chatting about topics that men like. "Pangda, tell me if you are useless or not." The crocodile ate Li Ping. "What about you? It's okay if Feng Qian can't handle you. You can't find one even after going to college." Hearing Chen Changliu's words, Crocodile also gave him a contemptuous gesture, which made Pang Wei speechless and began to complain. "I do want to, but there are not many girls in our school, and our electromechanical major is even more pandas. You don't know that there are only 3 girls in our class of 50 people. I'm going to say that it's just a class of monks." Pang Wei's complaints even attracted the ridicule of Chen Changliu and Zhao Lin. Of course, this is an exchange between real brothers. Just when the men and women in this small building were still drinking drinks, red wine, eating snacks, and reminiscing about the past, in a box of a holiday villa not far from this small building, Lu Zhiwen sat on the sofa in the reception area of the box, fiddling with tea sets and making tea. A lazy young man sat on the sofa next to him, and a fat man on the sofa opposite was frowning. Lu Zhiwen made tea, poured a cup for the fat man, and smiled lightly. "Boss Sheng, you can't be so unreliable for such a small matter." The fat man heard what Lu Zhiwen said, and smiled bitterly. "Young Master Lu, you are a little embarrassed for me. If I do this today, then this matter will spread out, and the reputation of my villa will be ruined, and it will be difficult to do business in the future." After hearing what the fat man Zheng said, Lu Zhiwen didn't say anything, but the young man sitting next to him was unwilling. "Old Zheng, why are you talking so much nonsense? This matter is not so troublesome. It's just a group of students. If you don't do it, I will ask someone to take them away for investigation." Hearing the young man's words, a sharp light flashed in the fat man's eyes, but in the end he still held back. After all, these 2 people are not easy to mess with, especially the position of the young man's elders. For a villa like his, it is still very influential. If they drive official cars every few days, there will be fewer guests. P.S. The typos will be corrected first and then corrected. Chapter 100 The tricks used by the young masters to show off and then get slapped in the face. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the happy hour, time passed quickly, and in a blink of an eye, it was the dinner time that had been set before, but there was no waiter serving the food. This made Chen Changliu, Zhao Lin, and Pang Wei a little strange. They called through the internal phone and got the answer. The reply was to come right away, but a few minutes later, the staff came over. It was a manager, and then there was no staff at all. Manager, we asked for dinner at the time, but now it's been 10 minutes. Why is there nothing yet? That the manager of the villa is a young woman in her 30s. As soon as she walked in, Pang Wei asked directly. She did not speak directly, but smiled and said to Chen Changliu. I'm sorry, Mr. Chen, this small building can no longer serve you tonight. Our villa will compensate you for all the losses caused to you, and then give you a 2,000 yuan voucher. Hearing the manager's words, others were a little stunned, including Zhiqiu. She was extremely satisfied with celebrating her birthday here tonight because her boyfriend spent the whole day decorating it himself. Chen Changliu's face showed no expression. He frowned and stared at the young woman. Pang Wei was the first one who couldn't bear it. What do you mean, are you open for business? We have already paid in advance and spent a whole day decorating it. You can just cancel such a birthday party if you want. The young woman was not annoyed, but the smile on her face disappeared and she no longer pretended. Guys, it's useless for you to argue with me here. This small building cannot be used by you tonight. No matter how much you say, it's no use, just go to the front desk with me and I'll refund your money. Fart, we'll leave if you tell us to. Bullies don't bully people like this. I won't leave tonight. Let's see what you can do to me. Pang Wei's bad temper came up. The young woman who had already walked to the door heard Pang Wei's words, turned around and looked at Pang Wei and said, What, is it illegal for us not to open the door for business? Let me tell you, you have to go if you don't want to leave tonight, otherwise don't blame us for being rude. This is not a place where you can cause trouble casually. When things got here, Chen Changliu stopped Pang Wei, then walked out, stared at her seriously and said, You have to tell us the reason. The equipment is broken? Or you still have to entertain other people? Are you too lazy to find a reason? Are you convinced? Hearing Chen Changliu's words and his expression, the young female manager suddenly wondered for no reason why these people had some background, but when I think about this birthday party, renting this small building for a day will cost almost 6,000 yuan. Plus other expenses, it will be over 10,000 yuan. A birthday will cost over 10,000 yuan, which is not what ordinary people can afford, but when she thought of the two people who were sitting with her boss drinking tea, she gained confidence again and continued to do as she was told. Okay, I can tell you and let you go. This small building will be used by a young man from a big shot in the city tonight, so you have no choice but to let it out. Of course, if you can get the big shot to step aside, we will still continue to do your business. Hearing what the young female manager said, Chen Changliu frowned even deeper. He felt that this sentence was what the manager wanted to express. Could it be the work of his enemy? But apart from his conflicts with Lin Hao in Yangcheng, he had no conflicts with anyone else. What if it was Lin Hao? Chen Changliu had a sudden thought in his heart for no reason. I'll go. If it was Lin Hao, tonight would definitely be a nightmare. If that guy knew that he was celebrating the birthday of his girlfriend Zhiqiu, he wouldn't have run away. What happened to Kumeng tonight would definitely be a nightmare. Exposed, but now that things have come to a point, do I still have a choice? He just walked away in despair. He couldn't even pass his level. He knelt down without even knowing who the enemy was. This was not his style. If things are exposed tonight, his head hurts just thinking about it. This seems to be a dead end. These thoughts quickly went through his mind. He gritted his teeth and pretended to be calm and said, No need to talk nonsense, let your boss bring them here. The young woman left, and everyone else also reacted. After a few words about the villa, they began to persuade Chen Changliu. Feng Qian said to Chen Changliu, Why don't we change places? It's still early and we're in a hurry. After all, the manager said he was a young man. It can be said that we are unfamiliar with the place in Yangqing. Feng Qian's words were approved by several other girls, and even Du Zhiqiu pulled his hand, but she didn't say anything, but looked at Chen Changliu firmly. Chen Changliu patted her hand. Now that he had decided, he no longer worried about what would happen next, and he could just do whatever he wanted. The young woman walked into the box and told everything about their conversation and everyone's reactions. The fat Mr. Zheng nodded with a smile, looked at Lu Zhiwen and said, "Master Lu, it's time for you to appear, let's have a chance encounter," and then. He didn't say the next words. After all, they all knew, and then it was time to show off. Whether it was really showing off or pretending, anyway, it would end up being a slap in the face. These tricks are all familiar to these young masters. The frivolous young man also stood up and said, "Brother One, then I want to see how beautiful the girl you are obsessed with is, and she actually refuses to give up after rejecting you several times." Lu Zhiwen smiled casually, stood up, and walked out of the box first without saying anything. He had his own ideas for doing this tonight. Not only did he want to show his strength in front of Du Zhiqiu, he had no such plan before. He really wanted to pursue her by himself, but someone got there first. Before, they were not in the same school, so he thought he had a chance, but for so long, there was no progress, and now he suspected that the first soup was gone. He was a germaphobe about his wife and didn't want to share her with others, so he changed his mind. Such a woman was not qualified to be his wife, but she was really beautiful and could be a lover, so he didn't think about any romantic pursuit, etc. And another purpose was to let the guys in the circle know that this was the woman he liked, and he didn't want to rush to the Dragon King Temple. After all, he knew that a beauty like Du Zhiqiu would be noticed sooner or later. P.S. The typos will be updated first and corrected later. Warm tips: if you find that clicking the next page will force you to jump to other websites, please use the chapter error or contact us at the bottom to let us know. We will deal with it as soon as possible. Thank you for your understanding.